All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Rakakwadash. Double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the men that are laboring sincerely in the ministry, being occupied in prophecy. Okay, and sincere and hearty shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect who are scattered abroad, the four winds of the earth. We're going to get right into this lesson, okay, entitled The Haves and the Have-Nots. I came across this video here on TikTok, and I believe it's, gives you an idea of what's to be expected in the coming days and months. And, this is a farmer here who's going to make some predictions concerning food costs. Okay, hence the haves and the have-nots. And we're going to go right into the prophecies and break it down from there. These are the things that are getting ready to come not only upon America, but the whole world, And the Lord talked about, the different destruction and death and famines that were going to take place. And we're already seeing that. And we're going to cover it in the scriptures, man. And Lord's will, you'll be edified, okay? The Lord's hopeful elect. These are the things that, not only have we been speaking about to warn, our fellow Israelites, but we're mentally prepared for these things. And in doing so and embracing the knowledge, wisdom, and understanding of the scriptures, we believe that the Lord is going to provide and take care of us. That's where our confidence is. So, he's going to recommend doing some things, as far as buying and stocking up and all that. And, that wouldn't be a bad idea. But at the end of the day, if we're being realistic, you don't know where you're going to be. Okay. And, the truth of the matter really is the ones that have are really going to be targets for those that don't have. Okay. And you could see where a lot of people right now are being turned into second grade citizens, right? Where they're not having the same access that they once were able to, experience, all right? Whether it be in terms of restaurants and venues and things of that nature, right? It's eventually going to trickle down to food, bare necessity, food, water, shelter, medicine, okay? Things that people need in order to survive. And again, the Lord's hopeful elect, we don't have to worry about this because Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai Bashim Bahashim is going to provide for us. However, these people, they're going to have to suffer, and that's all according to the Most High's judgment. So let's listen to what this individual has to say. We're going to look over a few articles, a little bit of information, and get into some precepts.
Between 9 and 12 months from now, if not sooner, you're going to see that your food costs you 30 to 40% more.
And I'm just going to stop it right there because brothers, okay, have already experienced situations where, meat, okay, as well as produce has gone up exponentially. I've noticed that a lot of the times I'm spending a good portion of my money on produce, and then when I do choose to buy meat, it's up quite significantly from previous years. So it's expected to go up even more, okay, because of supply chain disruptions. And overall, we're experiencing the devaluation of the dollar, right? The dollar in of itself has been losing its purchasing power for quite some time, right? I'm going to let him continue to speak.
So if you have the ability to go buy canned goods or frozen goods or other items that are shelf stable, I would tell you, go buy them. Go buy them now. And I don't mean go hoarding or something like that, but just to save yourself some money, go to the grocery store.
And the thing of it is that don't go hoarding, but see that a lot of people in these types of situations, the first thing that they're going to do is panic. Okay, fear is going to overtake them. They're going to panic and they're going to start buying things up or hoarding. We've seen that in the beginnings of the pandemic. Okay, you see that in certain parts of the UK where people are panic buying gas. Okay, people are panic buying different items. Okay, because of potential shorter supplies. Okay, or just the very idea of it has caused people to go into like mass hysteria and hoard and buy everything up. But again, those types of people, they're going to end up being, a target for the have-nots. Those that possess the goods are going to become a target for those that don't. Okay.
Buy those those items that you like and that you use and put them away and save yourself some money. Why is this happening? Well,
Right. Yeah. Yeah. See, so I mean, the thing of it is it wouldn't be a bad idea to, and buy a little extra if you're able to afford to, But at the end of the day, we aren't to invest our strength in the little bit of extra that we might acquire. At the end of the day, we're just to put our trust and hope and faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai Ba'ashem Rakak Wadash. And as the scriptures say, he will provide and he will save, okay? His right arm is not short that he cannot save. So he's going to save his elect. So, we don't necessarily have to go out and buy up the whole damn store, But, in essence, if you wanted to, purchase a few extra items here and there, it wouldn't be a bad idea either. But at the end of the day, that's not what's going to save you,
It's happening because our costs are increasing so much. This misnomer that it's 3% is absolutely that. Our costs are up 40%. It might be 35%, but they're up significantly. And up to now, we've had contracts committed on stuff like onions outbound, so we couldn't raise our prices. Those contracts, they're coming to an end, which means we're allowed to reset the contracts, which we're going to have to do because we'll go broke in a year if we don't actually reset those prices. So go out, buy the items, save yourself some money, and take this little piece of advice. See ya.
Right. So guess what? The people at the stores are going to feel those adjustments that they have to make to accommodate the current economic environment. So from there, I just typed in supply chain price increases. And I'm not going to go into all of these, but if you wanted to get more into it, y'all can. Look. All right. A whole list from just a few hours ago. So this is what's happening right before our eyes, man. Okay, famine in the making, and total division in the making. The breaking down of society. Okay, and the economy in of itself. Okay, and a lot of it is by design, but at the end of the day, this is all judgment from the Heavenly Father. Okay. So here I have an example. I'm not going to read it, but you see the headline there. If you want to get more into it, by all means. Okay, strained supply chains keep U.S. producer prices hot, which we're going to actually read why this is a bad thing. Okay, yeah, sure, the prices are hot. People are investing, people are buying, but it's going to only add to more inflation, which only leads to more problems. So here you have more recent, October 4th, Dollar Tree increases price point due to prolonged supply chain issues. All right, here's another one. This is from out of, I think, Pittsburgh. Yeah, Pittsburgh. It says grocery prices going up in Pittsburgh across the U.S. as supply chain gets stretched. Here's a very interesting article here that says, "'Tis the season for price increases and missing stock." So this is suggesting that a lot of people are going to experience large price increases over these different holiday seasons, which you people love to celebrate. You love going into these stores. You love your Black Fridays. And people are already violent during that time. So how much more when they go to try to take advantage of these deals and they find out that, they're, things have significantly and substantially gone up, or these items aren't there. They can't go and get them items, okay? These people turn it into a whole, a whole thing, a whole situation, camping out in the damn parking lots and all that, folly set in great dignities. People will stop at nothing to, give over into their lusts and their consumerism, which really shows you the state of the minds of the people. But anyways, yeah, it's saying that, holidays such as, so-called holidays, wicked days of this world, like Thanksgiving and, Christmas, are going to be significantly impacted by the different supply chain shortages. Here it tells you, in terms of turkeys, okay? These wicked ass, Christmas trees, which is written about in Jeremiah, the 10th chapter. You could read about that, the customs of the heathen. This is a custom of the heathen, okay? This is a custom of the heathen. All right, which goes back to Babylonian customs. Okay, when you get more into it, which the Christmas tree is really more just a symbolic of a phallic symbol. Okay. But yeah, it tells you how it's, how it's gone up, from 2019, and then this year it's likely to go up, even more. Okay, and that's just for an artificial, wicked ass tree. It says importers are paying as much as $20,000 per container, according to the Wall Street Journal, and are struggling to find enough of them. Right. So it's just highlight examples of supply chain shortages and their impacts and how things are going to be affected. And this is going to play on the minds of the people, because these are the types of, things that people look to for relief, for hope, right? When it comes to these damn wicked holidays, these are the things that people kind of find comfort in, and these things are being taken away. So it's only adding to more stress, and ultimately it's going to cause these people to bug out, and cause them to hate their fellow man, hate their fellow neighbor, hate themselves, hate their wives, hate their children, right? Cause great distress for them to act out and do, wicked things. Spirits are basically jumping on them and causing them to act out this way because of the current climate here, okay? So we're going to read a little bit of this. This is 9 common effects of inflation. And, certain parts of the world have already experienced this, okay? Like if you look here, now this is dated July 12, 2021.
Heavy police presence in the capital of Havana.
Right, heavy police presence.
This weekend, rare anti-government demonstrations broke out as food and medicine shortages sweep the country.
Go back one more time. Slovakia, hold on.
Welcome to Port.
Let's go back here.
Food and medicine. Weekend aimed at preventing more protests. This weekend, rare anti-government demonstrations broke out.
Anti-government protests. And we're going to read about that in the scriptures, because that's exactly what's getting ready to come to America when these things happen. When people don't have access to the bare necessities of life because they can't afford them, or they can't access them because they're within limited supply, people are not going to give a damn about what their government is saying, okay? And even when Esau comes in with that problem, reaction, solution mindset, where, hey, look, if you, take the jab, or, really at this point, it'll be the MOTB, we'll give you some sort of relief. There's still going to be a lot of resistance. The same way you're seeing resistance with this jab and this experimental poison, the same way you're going to see people resist the MOTB. Now, a lot of people are going to succumb to it because they're going to feel, well, that's their only option, okay? Especially you Israelites, okay? Which, you Cubans, you're of the tribe of Manasseh, okay? You make up one of the 12 tribes. As a matter of fact, you're the brother of Ephraim, okay? The 2 sons of Joseph. And Joseph was blessed, okay, by Jacob, and his sons, okay, were brought in and blessed as part of the 12 tribes, okay, when you go into the story.
As food and medicine shortages sweep
Food and medicine shortages. And this is exactly what America is getting ready to see.
the country.
WJN's Dana Rebick is live in Palmer.
And we're not going to really, this got, there's a lot of violence, out in Cuba, people just breaking, stealing, taking those that have, and the have and the have-nots, okay? Hence this lesson. So we're just going to stop that there. Just wanted to use that as an illustrative measure and point. But we're going to read this right here. And we're just going to kind of read the titles, but I want to specifically read point 3. This says, erodes purchasing power, right? We see a great, it says here, the first effect of inflation is really just a different way of stating what it is. Inflation is a decrease of the purchasing power of currency. That's why it's taking several more dollars to obtain the same amount of products that you're accustomed to buying for less. But it says encourages spending, investing, right? Like I said earlier, right? Strained supply chains keeps U.S. producer prices hot. Okay, but let's see the effect of that now. The effect of that, all right, is people spend and invest, right? But what does it cause? It only ends up causing more inflation. It says, unfortunately, the urge to spend and invest in the face of inflation tends to boost inflation in turn, creating a potentially catastrophic feedback loop. As people and businesses spend more quickly in an effort to reduce the time they hold their depreciating currency, the economy finds itself awash in cash no one particularly wants. In other words, the supply of money outstrips the demand, and the price of money, the purchasing power of currency, falls at an ever faster rate. Okay? It says when things get really bad, a sensible tendency to keep business and household supplies stocked rather than sitting on cash devolves into hoarding. Like this guy said, don't go hoarding. All right. But guess what? That's what people are going to ultimately resort to because of panic. All right. People's fear is going to start to set in, and people are going to panic, and people are not going to regard one another. The haves and the have-nots, leading to empty grocery store shelves. We've seen plenty of examples of that since the pandemic started. And there's current examples going on right now all over the world. People become desperate to offload currency so that everyday payday turns into a frenzy of spending on just about anything, so as long as it's not ever more worthless money. Okay, now with that being said, we're going to read the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15. And I do believe I have it pulled up, right? Yes, I do. 2nd Ezra 15, and we're going to start at verse 15. It says, "For the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up and fight against another, and swords in their hands." Right, the modern day sword is a gun. People are going to be fighting each other. All right, and we're going to read the reasons as to why. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men," right, rebellion, "and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power," right? There's not going to be, because even now you're seeing police stepping down, right? Because they're not, wanting to participate in these mandations of jabs, all right? So, you're going to have limited, emergency services to intervene. So it is going to be within the power of their hand, okay? Even if they do increase their force by their AI and bringing in different troops, there's going to be a time where, that's not going to be there, all right? Or even if it is, right, it's going to be a free-for-all anyways, all right? It's really going to be a free-for-all, man, So even in those circumstances, hey, the power is going to stand in their hand. Just like we read, or Salaki, just like what was outlined here, anti-governmental protests. They didn't give a damn about what the government said or didn't say, because they were lacking food, supplies, medicine. So when it comes down to, survival, they're not going to regard any of this, okay? They're just going to do what they need to in order to survive, okay? And a lot of it is going to come down to literally killing one another in order to acquire those provisions. So it says, "For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes," right? Any type of authority. They're not going to regard any of that, okay? Governors, all right? Politicians of any sort, the president, you name it. They're not going to regard any of that. "In the course of their actions shall stand in their power. A man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able," right? You're going to see more of these cities shut down, right? Nobody coming in, nobody going out. They're going to fully regulate these cities on a 24-hour basis, all right? "For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid." Right, exactly. And that's the key point. Men are going to be afraid. Women, of course, fall into that category. They especially going to be afraid. Shit, if the men are afraid, all right, the women are going to especially be afraid. But it says, "And a man shall have no pity on his neighbor." And this is kind of what I want to highlight, the haves and the have-nots, right? "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword." They're different weapons, whether it be guns, whether it be knives, whatever weapon that they possess, they're going to use in order to do this, "and spoil their goods because the lack of bread and for great tribulation." You understand? So this is what's coming. This is what's coming to the world. This is what's getting ready to come to you wicked Israelites, man. All right? This is what's getting ready to come. Or this is what's getting ready to come. All right? Now, with that being said, I want to read the flip side of this coin, okay? This is what Romans 13 and 14 says. But put ye on the Lord Hamashiach Yahawashi. And how do you put on the Lord? Okay? How do you put on as Hamashiach Yahawashi? You follow the instructions of the scriptures, okay? "Wisdom and knowledge shall be thy stability." Okay? You wait on the Lord. Okay? In our patience possess ye our souls. Okay, roughly paraphrasing. So you got to be patient. You got to wait on the Lord, and he's going to provide. And we're getting ready to read that too in Isaiah 65. It says, and make not provision for the flesh to fulfill the lusts thereof. Right. So, we're still in this flesh, right? And, lust can either be good or bad, right? It could have a positive or negative connotation. See, when you get hungry, what do? You lust, or you desire after food or substance in order to satisfy that need or desire. Well, look, we're not to make provision, okay? So I think, did I have the word provision up here? I know I looked it up in the blue letter, but I want to just kind of get a little bit more understanding, because it just breaks down to provision. So let's look at this. So it says the action of providing or supplying something for use. Here particularly, supply with food or drink or equipment, especially for a journey, right? So here's the thing. The Lord's going to supply it for us. That's why we don't have to provision for it, okay? We don't have to set things aside and whatever. Like I said, you're not going off if you decide you want to get a little bit of extra. The apostles already kind of went into this, a while ago. But yeah, there's nothing wrong with buying a little extra if you can afford to do so. But you're not going to put your hope into that, because why? We're putting on Hamashiach Yahushai. He's our hope, okay? And at the end of the day, that's not what's going to save us. It's going to be our faith. And through our faith, we're going to be fed. It's not going to be how much food and resources we acquire now, all right? Especially considering we don't know where we're going to be, all right? And how the Spirit is going to make us move, So we're going to have to be moving agile, being as pilgrims, and with our faith, the Lord is going to provide. Which leads me to the last precept here. Isaiah 65:13, it says, Therefore thus saith the Lord power, behold, my servants shall eat. So the Lord is going to take care of us ultimately, okay? In many ways, and we're going to be provided for. We're going to be sustained through our faith, and the Lord is going to take care of us. But ye shall be hungry, right? Those who lack faith, all right, those who don't believe and trust in the Lord, they're going to have to go to the enemy, and the enemy is going to only end up destroying them. They're going to make very bad decisions that are going to get them killed, okay? They're going to have no hedge to protect them. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Right? You take that MOTB, right? That hour of temptation comes upon you, and you end up giving over into the hand of the enemy. All right? You're going to have to pay through that thermonuclear destruction. All right? And you can't trust your enemy. Never trust thine enemy. Just because you do what he tells you, there's no guarantee that you're going to even be taken care of. And even if he does allow you access to certain goods, at what cost did it come? Okay, at what cost, or what did it cost you in order to get that substance? Your life, your salvation, okay? Having a clear conscience in the kingdom, all right? That's going to be onto you, your shame, if you take trust in the enemy and his goods, okay? But the Lord's servants, we're going to continue to trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai Bashim Rakah Kodash. So when the effects of inflation, the effects of shortages and supply chain disruptions really start to impact these people, we are going to, I brought this out not too long ago in another lesson. We're going to be in this spirit. We're going to be in Job, the 5th chapter. This type of spirit. Just Job 5 and starting at 19, it says, He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yet in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. 7 is completion. So guess what? Out of all the troubles we experience, the Lord is going to take care of us and deliver us and hedge us. Okay? So that we are able to be preserved and ultimately receive our salvation in a chariot. It says, in famine he shall redeem thee from death. Right? This is an example of the beginnings of famine. And in war and from the power of the sword, it says, thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. So I'm going to leave it there, okay? Pretty much straight to the point. These are the things that are happening around the world and really affecting America. And in the coming weeks and months, it's going to affect people to the point where they become what you call a second-grade citizen, right? Without that jab, you don't have access to certain resources. It's going to be the same thing when they mandate the MOTB. You're going to be literally turned into a second grade citizen. All right. One thing that comes to mind is in that movie Divergent, you had, the group of individuals that didn't fall into any class of citizenship. They didn't conform, so they were outcasts. They didn't have access to resources. So it says here, a second-class citizen is a minority group who is denied the social, political, and economic benefits of citizenship. So it's going to be those that have and those that have not. And what is that going to cause? A lot of fighting, a lot of death, okay? A lot of animosity and hate toward one another, okay? And that's what it's going to be, an utter breakdown of civility in society, okay? But for the Lord's elect, we're going to be hedged, we're going to be protected, so as long as we continue, all right? So with that, I want to give all honor, glory, and praise on the Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, Bashim Rakah Kudash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Shalom to the Lord's hopeful elect.